Hello and welcome to episode 22 of the Championship Rounds podcast. I'm Andrew, joined by Taj and Dan as always. Pat's weekend, the boxing this weekend, so we'll get right into it. Saturday in Phoenix, Arizona. In the fight I was looking forward to the most, this weekend, but it was just very anticlimactic. Robeisy Ramirez quitting in the 6th round. Due to an eye injury, whether that was sustained by an elbow or a punch, whatever you wanted to say, he quit.
We know it was.
There's no way around that. Really weird fight, Sarge.
We know what it was sustained by. It was that right hand, and he just didn't want to fight anymore. That was really weird to watch. It did it was like really different compared to the first fight because remember Espinoza was the one who like dominated like the first third of the fight, the first 4 rounds. And this time it was mostly Robeisy with these like really good like body shots that I thought were gonna eventually do do something. But no, just didn't work like that. Espinoza's just too strong. His chin is too crazy, and the pressure. And he didn't throw as much as he did, like nearly as much as he did in the first fight. But it was like ramping up as the rounds went on.
Yeah, I mean, he was slowly just getting better and better and better. I mean, that's why I thought he would have fought in the first fight because, I mean, he's a pressure fighter. Pressure fighters usually take a few rounds to get going, but he started fast in the first fight. Started slower this time, I guess. I don't really know why. Probably because of Robeisy. I mean, Robeisy fought good in the first, 3 rounds. But, I mean, I felt like he was doing too much in those first 3 rounds.
It was like he was trying to compete with his like first fight self almost. Instead of just trying to like win the fight, he was just trying to do better than he did at the start. And he did, but then eventually got him like a little winded and with a 6'1". I was about to say featherweight, but it showed that he gained like 19 pounds overnight. So at welterweight was coming towards him. Like, man.
Yeah, because I mean,
crazy.
Like he was moving a lot, and like he wasn't being pinned against the ropes, wasn't being caught a lot. But then like he really just slowed down in the 4th round.
It just didn't barely punch in the 5th round either. So
yeah, I mean there was some interesting signs like before the 6th round. I think just watching him.
oh no, he was slipping. Like it was like a definitive difference between like round 1 and 2 to like 5.
I think
It's like he was a completely different fighter.
I think I can't. It is either the 2nd or 3rd round. At the end of the round, Robeisy lands like 3 or 4 consecutive big left hands, and Espinoza just didn't seem affected by it. I think that, like Robeisy was like, "What's going on?" Like, I hit him like that in the first fight, and it dropped him and it hurt him.
I remember, that left hook. I think it was on the 3rd
Yeah.
round. It, they looked like it should have took Espinoza's chin off, but it didn't do anything. There's also
and then
an uppercut too. I remember it just launched his neck into the air and it just didn't affect him.
And then, like, when you're boxing like that, and then you've hurt him in the first fight, and you haven't hurt him in a second fight, and then sort of Espinoza's volume's there, and you can't keep up with it in the 4th round, in the 5th round, and then because there was an eye injury. Like that's there's no doubt. Like he injured his eye, and then you get an eye injury, and then you're thinking like
it's falling apart.
Yeah,
because if he can't hurt him, and then he's going to be thinking, "Oh, I don't want to go through those last 3 rounds again like last time," because if he can't hurt me, he knows it's going to go late, and Like last 3 rounds were bad for him in the first fight.
I
I mean,
wonder if
maybe
that's
he
how
just
people were thinking, like that who predicted Robeisy. They're like, I don't know if I want to see him in the last quarter of a fight with this specific fighter because it's most likely not going to end well.
well. I mean, look, just based off the first fight, I mean, it just didn't look. I just didn't like what I saw from him, and I didn't think the matchup was very good. That's why I picked him. Well, that's why I picked him to lose the rematch.
I don't think like most people couldn't have predicted him
Yeah,
to just give up like that
yeah,
after.
I don't think anyone's going to predict him to quit. I mean, I'm not like going to shit on him for quitting because if I'm in a fight against Espinoza and I have a fractured orbital bone,
Who's twice the size of me.
I'd do the same thing. But I'm not a boxer, and
I would have
look,
did a Curtis Harper, low key, but
This,
look,
like
the thing is,
I would have got about that ring.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, like all the greatest boxers of all time, they are guys like that would fight through that, or at least like prove loads of times that they would fight through some crazy thing like that happening.
Or like maybe even attempt to see if you could fight like that. He didn't even
Yeah, I mean,
give it a chance.
it was one punch. I didn't. When I watched it this morning, I didn't realize it ended so early in the
It
round.
was like 12 seconds into the
Like
round.
it hadn't
Like, it
even
hadn't even
like
zoomed in on.
it hadn't even zoomed in. It hadn't even zoomed in. I was about to say that it hadn't zoomed in, and he's already like, no, it's fine.
That's why I
I'm
was so
done.
confused. I was like, did he like? I assumed he broke his hand when he did that.
so did I. That's what I thought.
When he
I
put his hand up, I was
what
like,
I thought.
"What's wrong with your?"
Immediately, what I thought, well, because like I just looked up, like because the round had just started. I just looked up from my phone, and I see him with his hand up, and I'm like, "Has like there been a foul or something? Like, has he called a foul and he's just turning away because there's like an elbow or a low blow or something?" And then he's just like, "No, he stopped the fight." I was like, "What?"
And then I've seen people on Twitter talking about like his jaw, and it for a second it looked like there might have been like a jaw issue because of how basically had his like mouth. It looked like he was like just like shocked at like just like what just happened. And then you could see like
Then
after like 30 seconds, you could see his eye
his eye
like
just
it
completely
started.
swelled up.
Yeah. At first, I was like, what's because it wasn't bad yet. You can really tell that it was like that. But yeah,
I mean,
off one punch. Well, it was probably
like,
accumulation of punches.
did he probably get elbowed? Like, yeah, sure, maybe,
Not on
but
purpose.
I don't remember seeing like a significant elbow that can do anything like that.
To the
That
breaks
would have done anything like that.
face like that.
It's professional boxing. You got to fight through like guys being rough on the inside.
That's what I was going to say. The only time there was any type of elbow like reaction is when Espinoza was trying to get Robeisy off of him.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
mean,
just because
look.
his long arms are trying to just push him away.
Yeah, I mean, look. That sometimes you follow through punches. I mean, he's big, and you can hit. Look at Fundora. I mean, when he fights on the inside, sometimes his elbows get in.
It's
It just
professional
happens.
boxing, man. Like
It's not a tickling contest.
I know Top Rank loves to run a sob story, but like I don't like the Robeisy over the past sort of year. This is a bit revisionist of me because I did pick him.
Hmm.
Like I don't know, like now that he's quit and it's sort of there were little signs there, like he was like meeting his daughter after the first 6 years. His dad was ill, all of this stuff, and like his parents had come over from Cuba for the first time in ever, and all of this stuff. Like, and I don't know, man. Like,
You're giving Top Rank all the fuel for his next fight. So.
yeah, if he like,
This is literally the script of what's gonna
yeah,
happen.
yeah, but like
It's gonna be a
after,
piano playing in the back too.
Look, Kriegel's already wrote this up.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's already got it. But but like. I don't know, like he's become world champion. He's been in a war with this guy. Like he's been one of the best amateurs I've ever seen. Like what's the motivation? Like, he's escaped the place that he wanted to escape. He's achieved his goal of becoming world champion. He's got well paid. His like, does he really want to fight through that? And obviously he doesn't. And like, I don't know, it's just like some sort of. I've just like immediately after I was shocked, but when I sort of thought about that and the quit, I'm not that shocked that a fighter of him. Obviously, you're always shocked when a fighter quits like that, but I'm not as shocked as I would be if it was someone else. It sort of makes sense with him. Like, I can rationalize him quitting in that sense after that fight, considering the situation of his life right now.
Yeah. I get
But
it.
yeah, it was a quit, and people need to stop saying that it was. Like, I've seen a few people saying that, oh no, no, that was a quit. And
Like,
people need to.
yeah, he quit because he was injured, but it's still a quit. Like, a quit is a quit.
A knee injury.
Whether you're right to do it or not is a different question. But
calling it what it is,
yeah,
it's not wrong. Like, it just is what it is, and that's fine. Well, I mean, maybe. I mean, you can come back from this. I mean, we've seen people quit in the past and come back.
One of the greatest fighters ever.
Yeah, and recently, obviously, Dubois.
His surgeon's
not
crazy.
quite comparable to Roberto Duran, but
Yo, the tip off was crazy.
But yeah, like all the stuff Tucker said, does he want to? Does he even want to carry on fighting? Maybe he's just gonna pack it in, or maybe he's gonna just like one more fight against someone who's not Robeisy, Rafael Espinoza, and see how it goes.
You want to know the problem though?
Sure, there's lots of problems.
This kid, Robeisy Ramirez, is still a fantastic fighter.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all the talent and the skill.
He just came up against one of the like most interesting, unique fighters. Like, weird to say for a new fighter, but probably like ever. He's over 6 feet tall. Has a crazy chin. Throws on like usually like 80 plus punches around. Like, he's like one of the like most interesting champions like ever.
He's a 6'1". He's a 6'1" inside pressure fighter that throws 80 punches around. But he's like 7 or 8 inches taller than everyone else in the division. Like, but he's an inside fighter. That's the weirdest thing about him.
Sounds like someone else we know.
Yeah,
the Towering Inferno.
We haven't seen what's his name, Espinoza get chinned yet. I guess, but
well, he's Mexican, so.
So it's not Dora, to be fair.
Well, Espinoza's more Mexican.
But it's just, he's a problem, man. And like, if the reports that there've been rumors swirling around for months now that he's going to go up and fight the winner of the main event on Saturday, which was Emmanuel Navarrete pummeling Oscar Valdez. Like, immediately in the first round, you could see that I think Valdez's punch resistance had gone, to be honest. And he just got pummeled, man. Like, Navarrete just beat him up.
That was a generational beating.
Look, I mean, nobody asked for this fight. Let's be honest. Who asked for this fight?
No one needed that. Seeing the first fight and rewatching the first fight, there was no reason for. And Bradley tried to use like a thing like it's Mexican versus Mexican. It's always going to be. We don't care.
Well, not all the time.
Like no one wants to see that.
You know why we got that though?
Because
Top Rank's plan backfired.
Yeah, I guess.
Because Navarrete beats Berinchik, then Oscar Valdez is the champion because he gets
Yeah.
upgraded, and then Navarrete is the champion at 135, and they don't fight. But it's all on Navarrete losing to Berinchik. That's the issue.
This is all Borinchik's fault.
Well, it's all Navarrete's
God
fault for
damn
being
it,
a
Dan.
mess in that fight. But yeah,
Because I mean, like his only, like we said, his only hope was that Navarrete is just crazily regressed. And well, we found that out pretty early that that wasn't the case.
It is
I
weird
think he
though
gets a lot of
that,
pressure.
that he is still like not prime him clearly, but it's weird because he's only been good against Valdez for the last couple fights.
But, I mean, it's just one of those fights where like if they fight 10 times, he's winning 10 times, and he's gonna beat him up every single time. Awful start matchup for him.
Navarrete was like, sorry, not Navarrete. Valdez was doing some good work though, but like he
He's
just
a
couldn't hurt
significantly
Navarrete,
better.
and then like Valdez was landing a few good hooks and like a few good clean shots, but every time he landed, Navarrete was walking through it and landing 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think he landed like better punches in the rematch. To be honest, I mean, he didn't
Yeah,
really land much
like ones that
at all.
should have knocked Navarrete's head off, but his chin is generational, clearly.
But yeah, I think Valdez should retire. To be honest,
I think so too.
like on the broad, like to sort of hype the fight up, they were like going on and on and on about how he broke his jaw against Quigg and he's had this eye injury against Valdez in the like against Navarrete in the first fight. Sorry, and he keeps fighting for adversity and he keeps getting hurt and all these injuries and stuff and keeps going back. Like, well, at some point, like you got to think, is it worth it?
And Navarrete was saying that because of injuries before the Conte fight and then in the Valdez fight, he's saying that's why he didn't perform his best either in those fights too. So, yeah, no, that fight should have never happened, honestly. At least he made quick work of it, though. It's not like he went another 12 with him or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably felt like he did.
Yeah, the way he was beating on his head like that.
And I mean, he was being hurt a lot from headshots, but I guess like the only punch you're gonna stop Oscar Valdez with is a body shot.
You just had to tenderize him.
Because I mean, he can keep taking these punches, keep getting hurt, keep continuing like we've seen him do loads of times. But body shots, I mean, they're just killers to anyone. Hopefully he doesn't put it down to, oh, I just got hurt by a body shot. Anyone can be hurt by that and just continue fighting. I mean, I think he's going to continue fighting, but he shouldn't.
He said he didn't say he was going to retire. So he is most likely going to keep fighting.
I mean, he will. I mean, he's just not. I just don't really think he's a super featherweight. But don't really think he could make featherweight healthily.
Definitely not.
I just like I don't like the way he was reacting to those shots. Like
his legs were all over the place after some of those punches.
they said something about his ankle or something went in the first
Yeah.
but like I don't know, man.
I think it was after the second. I know it was like after like an accidental like fall. I think.
It was after the first knockdown, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like the way he was reacting to shots.
I mean, he was acting. He was acting the same in the first fight to those shots too, but maybe not as bad. But they were all still hurting him. Maybe Maybe he'd act better against someone who's not Navarrete. It's such a
Yeah, but
bad
like
style
his
for
legs
him.
were going that, like his legs were going this time, and he was getting dropped this time. Like it wasn't that bad in the first fight, I don't think. And it wasn't that instantaneous either. Like the first sort of 3 or 4 rounds of the first fight, like Navarrete was winning them, but it was a lot more competitive, and he wasn't taking that much of a beating early on.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
instantly in this fight, like Navarrete was beating him up.
he just took off where he left off from the 12th round. Really, he was like, "Yeah, I can just beat this guy up. I might as well just start fast this time." And like you knew he was hurt after the first knockdown. He was calling it a back of the head shot when it hit the side of the head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Like, how do you see a Navarrete Espinoza fight going?
List.
Fight of the year, basically fight of the year.
Yeah,
The amount of punches thrown. They're
Um,
not gonna stop each other. So
I
it
don't
could
you
know.
never
happen.
know. They both punch really hard, and Espinoza won't be like drained. Well, as
I'm just
drained.
saying
I mean, he'll
they
probably
have
still be
some of
drained.
the best chins in boxing. So.
They won't need to find each other.
Yeah, I mean, just give him a phone booth.
They won't need to find each other, and they both throw like 100 punches around. So like,
Well, it's gonna be fight of the year, and they're gonna break some punch that records or divisional punch that records at least.
I need to think about.
Well,
Like,
I mean,
I'm sort of.
Espinoza is closer to his prime than Navarrete is, but I've never seen him at 130 before, so who knows? Maybe it's gonna be a draw.
Maybe. Not much else in this top rank card. Like we said on the preview, it was mainly just prospects knocking over people.
Same top rank shows.
Delgado looked okay. I don't really think he's a threat at world level, really, but it's super lightweight, so who knows? I really, really like the look of Steven Navarro. I think he's a fantastic prospect.
He's pretty good.
Like, we'll probably come on to this, but Matchroom's eye for talent is so poor because Steven Navarro was fighting on a Matchroom card this year and was unsigned prospect fighting on a Matchroom show, wanting to sign with Matchroom, and they turned him down, and then he went to Top Rank.
They're stupid for that. Like they get the. We'll talk about the matchroom card later, but you had to grab Navarro if you're gonna have these bad ones, these bad prospects. A slew of them.
It's just a ridiculous amount. But yeah, Richard Torres looked okay as well. And there's not much else on there, to be honest. Like I said, like every top rank card, man, it's a decent main event, maybe a decent chief support, and then the whole rest of the card is just prospect bashing. Like it's just the whole rest of the card is literally just prospects.
Yeah, as a card, I don't really enjoy watching top rank shows. And then they like had like an hour and a half long break because of college football. Like I don't understand.
That was fine though, because you got to watch the other main event in Puerto Rico at that time. Richardson-Hitchins defeats Liam Paro by what should have been a very, very clear unanimous decision, somehow inexplicably a split decision. yeah, Paro just looked awful. He looked basic. He couldn't adapt to anything Richardson was doing. I'm just eating jabs all night. Like, he looked awful. Awful, man.
He started off good and then just never got it back.
I know Dan's going to be raging about this, but the amount of fighters that can't defend a basic jab.
Look, I've been telling you, 2024 in boxing is might be the best time in boxing history to have a good jab.
Because
No
most
one can
people
defend
can't
it.
defend it.
No one can defend it. Well, a very small percentage of people can defend it. Back in the day, everyone knows how to defend the jab. Always moving their head, parrying the jab. Well, actually, saying that, I mean, he did okay earlier. He was countering the jab pretty well. He was countering Hitchins' jab, and then I don't know what happened to him after the 4th round. He stopped doing it.
Hitchins upped the volume and started
Yeah.
bringing the right hand behind the jab, and then Paro just was lost.
Yeah.
And just decided, you know what? I don't want to throw body punches tonight.
Yeah, because, I mean, all he had to do was just throw 2 or 3 jabs at a time, and that countering of his jab from Paro is over, which is what he started doing, and he started bringing the right hand behind it. Occasionally, left hook, I mean, not much. He's kind of like he's basic, really, isn't he? But he does it well.
Man, 140. 140.
I
Like,
miss 140 pre-COVID.
that was a poor era as well.
It was not as poor as this era. This is disgusting. This is nasty.
Like, I don't know, man. Hitchens is better than people like Rekic, man. Come on. He's better than Ivan Baranjic.
Well, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah.
But
yeah, bit of a crazy stat that only one champion at 140's managed to actually defend the belt this year, and that's Teofimo Lopez. Like, it's gone. WBA has gone from Rowley to Cruz to Venezuela. The WBC, Haney had a no contest in his first defense, vacated. Puello's got it now. IBF Matias loses, then Paro loses, and then Hitchins has got it. It's just it's a really weird division, and it's weird to say, but like Teofimo is the number one. Even though he's looked awful, like most of these fights at 140, he is the number one.
I don't even know if there's I just need someone needed to cement themselves.
Yeah, someone needs to separate themselves.
I don't really think there's I mean, someone has to go at number one. I don't really think there's number one.
It's like with pound for pound now. Like someone needs to go 9 and 10, but there shouldn't be. Like, it's really bleak.
Well, I don't know. Like, that performance from Hitchins, I mean, it's not going to be easy to beat for anyone, to be honest. Because, I mean, it's a terrible
to watch, but
it's a terrible style matchup for Teofimo Lopez. And he does the basics really well, and he actually sticks to his game plan because he doesn't care about being entertaining.
You're gonna need someone that's bigger than him that can also jab.
Devin Haney maybe, but I think Hitchins has better footwork than Devin Haney. I mean, he holds his feet a lot, I should say, more than people think.
I don't even really count Haney as a fighter at 140 right now, to be honest.
Yeah, he's not champion, is he? So
I wonder if he's gonna fight anytime soon. Honestly.
It doesn't look like it.
Like, I think he'll be at 147 when he comes back because like he's a big guy and all that time out the ring he's gonna be putting on weight and like what fights is there for him at 140? Like he obviously doesn't want to fight Lopez because there's not the money there because he turned that down apparently.
Puello and
I mean,
Lyle aren't realistic.
if the money's not there for Tfimo and it's not enough for him, there's no one else there for him.
Yeah.
He should move up. But I mean, 147 is just not good either, as well, is it?
Yeah, but like
A couple.
there's bigger names there that are easier fights. Like a Conor Ben fight.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say it.
Threw up a little in my mouth right there.
Yeah, like two of the most dislikable characters in the whole sport, Devin Haney and Conor Ben. But like that's a fight for Devin Haney that's gonna one be extremely easy and two making quite a bit of money.
Two people I'd rather not talk about.
Yeah, that's enough.
But yeah,
See, I mean, look, I mean that's kind of what you just want from Hitchins, just to put a good performance together, especially after the Lemos fight. Look, he's got momentum now. See what he does. I mean, he called out Teofimo, but isn't Teofimo? Isn't he in litigation with Top Rank? Didn't he sue them?
that's weird, because he did
Is
an
that still happening?
interview like on ESPN last night.
Yeah.
And he's saying, "Oh yeah, Top Rank are the best team in boxing," and then negotiating my fights.
Well, let's be honest. He just flips and changes. He's basically the 140 Tyson Fury. So I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't even file a lawsuit with them.
Who knows? Who knows?
But I mean, look, if he does fight Teofimo, I'm gonna favour Hitchins because it's a terrible style matchup for Teofimo.
Yep.
Told you might not like that, but
Hitchins wins a horrifically
I
boring
know.
fight.
I'm trying to keep the vomit in my mouth, but
look, Hitchins looked
I
good.
know.
He had a good
I
performance.
know, man. I got it. I got it.
Hitchins is one of these fighters that's like an extremely good fighter in one style, and if you can't do that style, you are going to you're done, you're finished.
Yeah.
But if you can, you're going to make him look so bad.
Yeah, because if you can get past his jab somehow, or if he doesn't throw it for whatever reason, then you'll do good because he can't fight on the inside. And he doesn't like a rough fight. Likes time, like a lot of these fighters do. But if not, he'll just pick you apart on the outside pretty easily as well. Maybe not entertainingly, but effectively.
He's a weird fighter, man. There's that division is like I'll tell you who is a good fighter. The 140, like Carrington Agrabah, or however you say his name, the Russian. He's quite a good fighter. I've watched him. Like it's so weak. Like Elvis Rodriguez is like top sort of 15. Like who's not very good. You've got Arthur Biarsimov there, who's not that brilliant. Like Michel Rivera could like do something. Like there's so many weak fighters in this division, man.
Well, look, Valenzuela's a champion in this division. That should tell you everything you need to know. Rowley was a champion in this division.
Yeah, man.
Isaac Cruz was a champion in this division.
It's just really nasty.
Sabrina Matias was as well.
Yeah.
Well,
It's not good. There's an argument that Jack Catterall's the best fighter at the weight. Like that's never a good weight division. But moving on, chief support on this card: Henry LeBron beats Christopher Diaz by UD. Fight of two halves. Really, LeBron had an excellent first half. Diaz came right back into it in the second half, but I think LeBron did enough. Probably 6 rounds to 4, something like that.
Yeah.
7 rounds.
Lucky it wasn't a 12 rounder.
Yeah. Same. It was the same issues with William Foster, I believe, in that fight. Like Foster came right back into that fight late on.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I think LeBron. I think he won the 10th round against Foster, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, he was much better in the first half. And I mean, that doesn't really bode well for future fights. If you keep having good first halves and terrible second half, when you jump up to 12 rounders, you're probably going to lose against a good itch file.
like, can you imagine him in the second half of a fight with someone like Nunes?
Does he get to a second half of the fight against someone like Nunes?
Yeah, like it's not, or even someone like Kakachi or something like that. Like he's not Ray Ford, like beating on you, like all these guys. Like he's not. He's okay. He's just okay. He's not great. He's just he's just a pretty average, round the mill contender that's got obvious flaws, I think.
Yeah, all right.
But yeah, that was a relatively good fight. That was nothing to scream about. It was good. I enjoyed it. Yankee Rivera looks really good against Adrian Gonzalez. Just beat him up, dropped him a couple of times, and started in the fourth round. Nothing really to say about that other than that, really. Jalil Hackett lost to Jose Roman Vasquez by a split decision. Vasquez was an 11-1 underdog. I watched the fight back this morning. I scored it 5-5. But yeah, man, like Jalil Hackett, I thought he looked very, very poor against Pete Dobson. And it's just lost this fight. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've the Pete Dobson fight was there. I didn't really see it against him. And I don't really understand what all this hype was about with him, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't really understand it, to be honest.
I had it on last night on the before the bell, but wasn't paying full attention. But when I was watching, he didn't look very good.
It's just like he was coming forward, just trying to do too much, and it just made him look bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, he took a. This isn't even a step up, is it really?
It's not. It was probably made for him to look good.
Yeah,
Yes, probably a step down
was.
from Dobson.
Yeah. But look,
Bottle.
you know, they just found out that, or he just found out, should have at least, that he's not good. As some people say, go work on getting better. You see all the outrage on Twitter
It wasn't
about,
robbery.
no, not the robbery, about Eddie putting people in,
that.
getting his fighters losing. Matchmakers need to be
Look,
fired.
he just has poor talent scouts, man. That's it. Like a lot of these prospects, especially in the US, that he signs are just not very good. Like, look at the hype he was putting behind guys like Reshat Mati and like Nikita Abibi and all these guys. Like Reshat Mati and Abibi are genuinely two of the worst prospects with major promoters I've ever seen. I don't say that like they are like if you're separating it from the gimmick prospects like Conor Benn and Campbell Hatton and that type of thing, like Roman Fury, those two for like legitimate like prospects with big promoters are some of the worst I've ever seen.
Yeah, I mean, they weren't very good. Look, I mean, this wasn't even like, this was, anyone who's like good beats this guy. This isn't bad matchmaking. You're just not good.
Like, yeah, it's fine. Like, if you can't beat that level of opponent, you're never gonna like do anything. So what's the point? Like
And
what's the point in keeping like feeding you sort of 6 and 8 round fighters and like all these bums and like keep on paying you and investing in you when you can't beat that?
yeah,
From a
don't.
promoter's point of view, like you're going to put them in with those types of fighters.
I mean, Eddie does it with his British fighters. Just feeds them journeyman all the time. Like, just don't do that with the American fighters. It's not gonna go well. Like, they need good matchmaking because they're better fighters. Can't stick them in with journeyman all the time.
Another prospects that lost on that show last night. Mark Castro.
He was woeful.
He's been
Well, he's
like
always
been
really
coming.
been woeful, but
Like
that was nasty.
I had this sort of thing. I have a little notes app on my phone, of prospects that are going to lose soon, and I have. I bet on this Quintana last night simply because Mark Castro has been on this list for a while. Like these are prospects that are really, really not very good. I mean, Castro's been getting dropped. Has been like losing like a lot of rounds. He's just not very good. He's been getting hurt. His defense is not there. Like he's just not that good. The hype around this kid when he turned professional. Oh my! I've never seen hype like it for a prospect. Like he's beaten Ray Ford in the amateurs. He's beating all these guys in the amateurs. He's beating Keyshawn Davis in the amateurs. He's beaten all these guys. Like I remember when he turned pro. Like because that was about the time that Keyshawn Davis was fighting on Matchroom shows, if you remember.
Mm.
And like Matchroom chose Mark Castro over Keyshawn Davis. And, like that's known. Like people know that. Like Hearn said it himself on like all these interviews that he does. Like he chose Mark Castro over Keyshawn Davis.
That's that did not. That's one of the worst aging ones ever. Probably.
Yeah, I didn't watch the fight, but I mean, it has been coming. There's losses been coming.
He definitely lost. Like
He's been
this
begging
wasn't a
for it,
decision thing. Like the 96-94 card for Castro was a very, very bad card. Like the closest you can have that fight is a draw. Like I didn't have it a draw, but that's if you're being generous to Castro, that's the best you can do.
They could have done that, really. If they wanted to.
But like he lost the fight, man. He definitely lost the fight.
Yeah. Well, can he come back?
No.
Can he improve? I mean, I'm got more hopes of Jalil Hackett coming back and being better than Mark Castro.
Hackett's a lot younger. I mean, Castro's like 25, 26. Hackett's like
Mm.
20, 21. Like, it's been a weird time. A lot, like, the only Matchroom USA prospect that's done anything, really, is Ray Ford. Like, they built up from a very early stage in their career, sort of thing.
And even he struggled bad at the beginning, too.
Like, losing to, like, he lost to Vasquez and the other one, Perez, was it?
Yeah.
Like, he lost both those fights, definitely. And, like, even Hearn came out and said that he lost to Vasquez.
He didn't need to come out for that. We all know that.
No, but, like,
I was like, he definitely lost that.
like you know it's a real bad robbery when like a promoter comes out and says, yeah, he lost that fight.
Yeah.
Like you know that's a real bad one when that happens.
And you know it's even worse when Eddie Hearn comes out and says that his fighter
Him
lost the fight.
specifically.
Yeah.
Like if he's saying it, you know it was bad.
But yeah, Ray Ford's a good fighter though. Like
I like Crawford.
But he's the only one that's really done it. Really. Like, there's not really that many others that have done that much from that side. But yeah, it's a really weird night. That it's a night of weird occurrences in America and Puerto Rico. Like, Saturday, in the UK, at Wembley Arena, the Queensbury card. Start from the top. Brad Pauls loses a 12-round decision to Denzel Bentley. Bentley wins the British and European titles. I thought this was a really, really good fight. Like up until the knockdown with the eye injury. Like, I thought Pauls was going to win the fight because he had all the momentum. He was winning the sort of middle rounds really, really well. Bentley was looking a bit lost, a bit out of gas, and a bit sort of clueless as to how to deal with the Pauls pressure. 10th round comes along. Bentley lands a perfect shot right on Paul's eye. Fractures Paul's orbital bone. Pauls goes down, gets back up, but he just totally unraveled after that. Like, he was all over the place. He couldn't see. And Bentley just boxed out the last 2 rounds really well and deservedly won the decision. I thought he won 115, 112.
I had it a bit wider. I had an 8-4, but I mean, I do agree that, like, I thought Pauls was going to win too. I had it. I think I had it 5-4 to Bentley going into the 10th round.
Yeah, I had it 5-4 Pauls. So yeah, at that point,
he really did have all the momentum, didn't he? Like, complete opposite from the first, like, 4 rounds. Where, I mean, Bentley looked pretty good. I mean, he usually looks pretty good early, doesn't he? And then slows down a bit. I was quite fortunate injury, but you know, he did what he
look,
needed
he
to
threw
do.
the punch, man.
Yeah, it's not like he threw the punch and injured himself, so it's fine. It was a good fight. But I mean, I think he took the punches better than maybe you thought.
Yeah,
He would
yeah.
have.
To be fair, like, he took. So, saying that though, like, I was talking to Taj about it. Like, in the first round, he took a left hook, and his legs went a little bit, and I was like, "What's going on?"
Oh yeah, in the group chat, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. In the very first round, Pauls lands a left hook, and Bentley doesn't react to it well at all. I think it's the way. It might be the way he sort of slips punches a bit as well, because the way he sort of slips punches is so weird.
He's a very weird defender.
His defense is awful,
but his offense, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, his offense is good, and you know, but at that level, that can get you a lot of places. Good offense, power, bit of athleticism. That's why he's a 3-time British champion.
Most of the fights from yesterday that I thought were going to decision ended in knockout. The ones I thought were going to be knockout went to decision. I'm like, man. I thought Bentley Pauls was almost for sure going to end in a knockout. Nope.
Well, I picked Pauls by decision. I mean, it could have happened, but it didn't.
I guess Bentley knockout that I picked could have happened too, but Pauls is tough as hell.
Oh yeah, that eye injury is bad. Apparently, like, he'll be out for a while with that. Like, it's
Maybe.
a pretty bad eye injury. But
I mean, it looked bad.
I've seen a couple of photos from this morning. I'm like, yeah, it's not good.
Oh, you know who didn't quit?
Yeah,
Brad Pauls. Of
yeah,
course, he had Denzel Bentley in front of him and not Espinoza, but still. Same injury.
yep.
And even though he took a knee, like he was smart enough to take the knee to like see if he could do it, and he believed he could still fight. So
Obviously, much lower level. Not a title on the line. But
Yeah, like talking about world titles, Denzel Bentley's gonna get another shot at Janabek. Yeah, it just sums up middleweight the fact that he's getting another opportunity. He's not a world level fighter, never has been, and he's not
he's
good.
he's getting stopped this time.
Yeah, he is. Like,
Early. He's getting stopped in like 4 rounds.
yep.
if that,
And
He's
I
not. He's
mean,
not. He's not. I really, really hate. Nothing annoys me more than seeing guys lose conclusively at world level in fights where the champion is a notorious fighter that fights in first gear and cruises. And they win a couple of rounds, and then you get people in Britain screaming that they're a world level fighter. Like, no, he's not. He lost
well,
conclusively to Janabek on a bad night when Janabek was sat in first gear cruising.
I mean, I had it pretty close to be honest.
it was like 8-4.
It was a conclusive loss though. Like he lost clearly. There's no argument that Bentley winning that fight. There's no argument of that fight being a draw.
No, there's not. But
He,
I mean, I
like,
thought he fought well, but obviously,
he fought well. Like, yeah, but like
Janabek, he probably didn't know much about Bentley, and I mean, he took his punches better than he expected. But I mean, he's probably going to do a job on him, like a real bad job, especially
Like Felix Cass job.
this later version of Bentley.
Like, yeah, like Bentley's not. He's not that guy, man. He's a good, fun domestic level fighter. That's about it. He's not a world. He's not a world level fighter. Even in one of the weakest divisions in the sport, if not the weakest division in the sport, he is not a world level fighter. That's just the truth of it. Like, he's just not. There's about 10 fighters at middleweight that beat Bentley pretty conclusively, I think. Probably more if I thought about it. But
Yeah, probably more.
yeah, he's gonna get stopped at world level. Like Shiraz, Janabek, Adames, Lara, Hernandez, even someone like Elijah Garcia, Eubank, Liam Smith, like all these guys beat him pretty conclusively, I think. What else was on this show? Sam Noakes beat up Ryan Walsh, but it's very frustrating because he should have stopped him. He should have stopped
Yes,
that fight. It was there.
he should have stopped him. And what annoys me so much is these guys, they'll just do enough. Then in the final round, they'll actually like do what they should have been doing 4 rounds earlier and nearly stop someone or hurt him several times. And it's just like, why didn't you do that 4 or 5 rounds earlier?
Even to 1-2 rounds earlier, he would have stopped Walsh. But
yeah, like why? Or like, yeah, sure, you're gonna get a title shot, but just stop someone.
He did the exact same thing against Mendy as well.
Yeah.
Especially with these refs in Britain, man. If you can pin someone in a corner and unload like 15, 20 punches, even if like half of them are on the gloves, like these British refs are going to jump in.
Yeah, especially for the A side guy. Probably don't even need 15 punches with the A side guy. 10 punches. 2 of them land. Yep. It's over.
You know what? You know what's a bit of a lost art, I think. People varying punch speed, punch power.
Yeah.
Like with Noakes, pretty much everything's the same speed, and you can tell that everything's got the same amount of like pop on it.
Yeah, because I mean, like those punches, they'll bother you early in the first few rounds, but then you'll get used to it, and you'll be able to take them.
Yeah, and also like a lot of it's like just drop the amount of like power you're putting behind your punches by about 30% and throw 30% more, and like you'll have a load more success. If Noakes could stop loading up on literally every shot, throw a bit more, he'd look so much better, I think.
Yeah, because if you're dropping the power, you're going to increase the speed. Speed kills.
You're going to increase the speed and increase the volume, like, and that's more important. You're naturally heavy-handed anyway.
Yeah, and increasing the speed, more likely to land.
Yep. But yeah, talking to people that landed, Lawrence Okoli blasts out Hussein Muhammad in a round. About what we would expected, really.
Yep.
Like,
Yep. Well, the person who ate Lawrence Okoli blasted out Muhammad. Hussein Muhammad.
260. He looked the big boy, man. He looked...
They let Okoli get his job back at McDonald's because Jesus.
It's crazy to think like 260 is like more than Fury was against Klitschko.
Yeah, it's like 4 pounds lighter than Fury was against Usyk. I think something like that. 2 pounds, something like
that. That's bigger than Joshua. That's heavier than Joshua and Dubois. That is. And he was making cruiserweight 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And he did not sound like he was gonna lose any or much weight at all in his post-fight interview. He was like, "Yeah, I'm at the weight I should have been. Like, I feel comfortable. I feel good." Well,
he needs to drop 15 pounds if he wants to.
Cody last night, even still, he was resorting to clinches. Yeah, at points in that 2 minutes of that fight or however long it was. At points, he was clinching and holding on and stuff and coming together. If he's going to do that at heavyweight, he probably needs to be that big. Because he's just going to get mauled. If you're like 220 and you're not very good in the inside, you're just going to get mauled at it.
He doesn't need to be 220. Maybe he could be like 240, lose like 20 pounds. I mean, 240 is about the weight that most of the top heavyweights are, other than a few outliers. Not massive. But 260, that's just too big. I mean,
and he just looks horrible.
Yeah, he doesn't look good. He looks terrible.
He doesn't. He doesn't look the same. Like at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, he looked like he was wearing a fat suit.
He poleaxed him though. That was a brilliant right hand. Lawrence Okoli, what a man. So like he's gonna have like a top 3 WBC ranking, by the way.
Yeah, he won the silver title. Yeah.
He won the silver, and Fury on Usyk's gonna be out of the way, and then one of Bacoli and Jang. No, not Bacoli. Caballero and Jang's gonna be out of the way, and like he's gonna have a really good rating after that.
Fantastic. 3 division world champion soon.
Another fighter, a heavyweight that blasted someone out and around. David Adelaide stopped Solomon Dakers. Can't remember if you did, Dan, but me and Taj picked Solomon Dakers.
I've picked Solomon Dakers to win the decision. That aged terribly.
So
Yeah.
Adelaide is allergic to time off. Apparently, he doesn't need to be active to chin Solomon Dakers. So.
Well, yeah, I guess you don't need to be active to chin these guys at this level.
In
I mean,
fairness,
well, he top of the headed him.
People are
in
saying
fairness,
there's a fix and everything. So
it
So
wasn't
look,
a
that
fix, man.
that landed. I mean, it wasn't like clean, and he moved into it as well.
it doesn't need to be clean when it's a heavyweight punching you in
Yeah.
your forehead. So
240, 35-pound guy hitting you with a
I
massive
think
left hook.
Adelaide going to Adam Booth is good for him.
I didn't know.
I
I
do
didn't know
think he'll
he.
get better.
I didn't know he went to Adam Booth. No one told me this.
I knew he left his old trainer after the Wardley fight, but I didn't know he went to Booth. But
Might give him more credit. I like Adam Booth.
like his balance looked a lot better. Like the way he was throwing shots, like it looked a lot better. Though, in fairness, I know it was only one round, and I know it was against the bum, but like
I mean, I wouldn't say bum. You know, Daker's okay, I guess, at that level.
not that much of a bum for us all to pick him. I guess.
yeah,
Yeah, but that says more about what we think of Adelaide
yeah.
than what we think of Solomon Dakers.
Like honest, like these two are horrible. But yeah,
Well,
what I was saying the other week, by the way, GB podium squad members getting the din. Solomon Dakers was on the GB podium squad. He was in the top 3 super heavyweights in the amateur scene in Britain for years. He was on that podium squad for ages.
and he went out like Fraser Clark.
And let's be honest, there he lost the first Michael Webster fight as well.
Yeah.
I was ringside for that. He lost that fight clearly. Like clearly he lost that fight.
What's Adelaide gonna do now? Is he gonna go for a British style?
Might as well.
He's depends what ward he does with it.
Because I mean, I don't
You know what
really
I'd like
want
to
to
see?
see that rematch, but no. What?
If Clark's okay, make the Fraser Clark fight.
He's okay.
I don't think his head is okay. There's a massive dent in it.
Yeah, but like if he's back, like, and if he's fighting again, you might as well just make that fight.
Let's see
I
if
mean, probably
if
won't
he
come back
gets
for a
if
bit.
he gets stop if he gets stop Clark faster than Wardley.
David, let's look at the heavyweight rankings on Box Rec in Britain. Huey Fury, God, God,
Wait, you're
this is Jamie TKV.
yeah, I guess.
Jesus Christ, this is depressing. That Daniel Dubois, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Lawrence Okoli, Fabio Wardley, Dillian White, Derek Chisora, Joe Joyce, Huey Fury, Johnny Fisher, David Adelaide, Fraser Clark, Moses Otama,
Look, maybe
Solomon
he can
Dakers, Nick
fight.
Webb. Nick Webb, actually, that's a good fight for him because you'll ice Nick Webb.
Yeah,
Nick Webb's just won the area title.
he
Like,
did pretty
yeah.
convincingly as well.
If you want to get Adelaide out quickly, just get him a Nick Webb fight or Cash Ali. Dave Allen after Fisher's finished him.
Maybe he can fight Johnny Fisher on a Saudi card sometime.
They're so Dave. I don't think they'll do that to Fisher, to be honest, because Adelaide will probably beat Fisher.
Right, they're gonna milk the Johnny Fisher gimmick some more before they do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Alois Jr. also winning this card against Lewis Oakford. He's a decent prospect junior, but like he's so muscle bound, man.
Like
He,
he's
like
just
he is
massive.
so stiff, and he's so like, he's just there's no fluidity to his work, and like it's just he punches really hard, but like it's just all awkward. Like it's really really awkward.
Well, you know, it works. Well, it worked because I mean he looked pretty good.
Lewis Oakford.
Significantly better than he did the last time.
Yeah,
Ooh-wee. He
This
couldn't
is a
the
step
first time.
down though. Like John Hedges beat Lewis Oakford.
yeah. Look, I mean he did what he was supposed to do, I guess. Got a knockout. Back in the knockouts.
He's okay. Like he'll be okay at cruiserweight domestically. I think he'll be a decent domestic level cruiserweight. But I don't really see him going much further. Sean Noakes beat Matthew Rennie on this card as well. In an okay fight, relatively entertaining. Rennie boxed well early. Noakes took over second half. Royston Barney Smith looked good against Andres Navarrete. I think Barney Smith's one of the better prospects in Britain, to be honest. Like,
Yeah, yeah. I
there's
thought he
not many.
looked good.
There's really not many. He's one of the better ones. Pierce O'Leary got a nice knockout, and there wasn't really much else on that show. To be honest, it was a good show. Though I enjoyed it. There's a few good fights in there. I mean the GBM show on Saturday, Danny Quartermain, Jack Bateson, ended in a technical draw. Jack Bateson got cut in the second round, and the fight got stopped, so that wasn't good. Um, Levi Giles drew Kez Ashfrak on that card as well, but I didn't watch it because I was watching the Queensbury show, and I haven't got around to watching that yet. But yeah,
Well, Quartermain and Bateson, I think they're going to rematch.
hopefully that's a good fight on paper. Hopefully they do a rematch. Like on
I
paper,
mean,
that's a good fight.
they have to all the build up and stuff for that fight. They can't not rematch after that.
Who knows? Who knows what they do? Because GBM have some issues at the moment with certain people owing certain people money. So who knows? Tyrone McKenna on Pro. Oh my god, this fight! Tyrone McKenna beat Dylan Moran on Pro Box. It was weird because McKenna dropped him in both rounds. It's ended the fight in a second, but it was a fantastic fight. Like a really, really good fight.
That second round is
Second round was
insanity.
crazy. Like, thing with Moran is, and this has always been his issue. If you land clean on his chin, he's going. Like, no matter who you are. Sonny Edwards could land a clean shot on his chin and he could go. Like, he's just one of those fighters that just can't take a punch.
Yeah,
Like,
McKenna's definitely one that can because he was taking missiles.
But yeah, if you haven't watched that, it was a ridiculously good fight, so go watch it. In Grozny, Iman Katayev stopped Junio Mendez in the third round at 175 pounds. Imam Katayev moves to 9-0, 9 KOs. It was a very typical performance from Katayev. Sort of on the front foot, throwing quite a bit, landing heavy shots. Dropped Mendez in the first, and then Mendez just sort of wilted in the second and third, and the ref stepped in. Like, it's a very typical Imam Katayev performance, and he's a very good prospect at 175. He's sort of in that prospect/contender stage of his career now. He's beat Ezekiel Moderna, who's like one of these sort of journeymen that if you beat, you're at a very good level. If that makes any sense. And yeah, this Mendez fight, Mendez was unbeaten. He's beaten Bolotnik. That's a very good free fight run, I should say. in 2024. Belot next Moderna, Unia Mendes. That's like quite a good 3-fighter run for a prospect on the way up. And yeah, I'd like to see him step up now. Someone like a Hot Rod, like that would be a good fight for him, I think, or Jerome Pampalone. Someone of that sort of ilk.
That'll be good.
But yeah. On Friday night, in Liverpool, Dayan Gonzalez blasted out someone who I can't remember who's his opponent. If you haven't seen this fight, Dayan Gonzalez is massive, and Wira Mikam looked like a bantamweight, and Dayan Gonzalez looked like a middleweight.
That fight should not have been sanctioned.
It's ridiculous. Like, it was ridiculous. And, like, the fight was over in about 30 seconds. Like, Gonzalez threw a combination. And it was done. He got dropped, and it was done. Like, and he's now the IBO champion. Like, yeah, that was bad. That was really, really bad. Really bad. But on to the fight of the century that happened on Saturday. The fight that shook the world. The fight for the true heavyweight championship. Kubrat Pulev defeats Manuel Charr via a unanimous decision. But now this is the real heavyweight champion. There's apparently a fight in a couple of weeks that's claiming to be for the heavyweight championship. It's not, because
Shut up. Shut up. Shut the hell up.
on a serious note,
Stuck in Pulev, man.
we're at a stage in this division where if Usyk wins and retires, Kubrat Pulev is a legitimate heavyweight champion. He is the WBA heavyweight champion, like, fully. If Usyk retires and vacates.
I would love for you to not put that in there.
Oh, he already did. He tweeted.
I mean,
Disgusting.
if you haven't seen this fight, just think about just think about how a 45-year-old Kubrat Pulev and a 45-year-old Manuel Charr would look in a ring together. And that's what you need to do. Just think about how that would look, and then that's exactly how the fight went. I mean, it's one of these fights that's so terrible that you sort of enjoy it a little bit.
It's still like past like expectations. I thought there was gonna be clinching the entire time. They kind of were throwing at something. It was disgusting.
They didn't have the energy to walk across the ring to clinch each other.
It wasn't great
God.
to watch, but it was tolerable.
Kubrat Pulev, man. 6'4" from Bulgaria with no money or nothing. Oh God. Yeah. What a weird week of boxing. What a weird week of boxing we've just had. Quit jobs, regular titles, IBO titles.
World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah. IBA titles that we haven't even spoken about, but yeah. Arlen Lopez looked okay.
He looked good in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. There's really like there was so much boxing this weekend, but like none of it was really elite. Like,
Except the heavyweight title fight.
Yeah, except that, like, obviously that wasn't even boxing. That was just like, you know how like certain fights transcend the sport.
Alright. That's enough.
But yeah, yeah. Thanks for listening. This got a bit waffly towards the end because there's so much crap that I watched this weekend. All the links and stuff are in the description, as they always are. And yeah, thanks for listening.
See you in episode 23.